Germany has just introduced a new weapon that poses a significant threat to Russian forces. In one of the most daring attacks on Russia, Ukraine successfully carried out an assassination targeting Armen Sarkisyan, the founder of the infamous Arbat Battalion, a paramilitary force loyal to Russia's interests. Germany has just introduced a new weapon that poses a significant threat to Russian forces, Helsing's HX-2 combat drone. Germany has just introduced a new weapon that poses a significant threat to Russian forces, Helsing's HX-2 combat drone. Development, Ukraine crossed into Russian territory and occupied a significant portion of the Kursk region. The Ukrainian army, initially estimated to be between 300 and 1,000 soldiers, rapidly expanded its control to 500 square miles within 3 weeks, more than Russia had gained in the previous 7 months. This invasion tests and safeguard press freedoms. Regionally, tensions have flared with Croatia after Serbian authorities deported several Croatian activists. In response, Croatia issued travel advisories warning against non-essential visits to Serbia. This episode has added to long Sevastopol largely inoperable due to continued Ukrainian missile strikes. By 2024, Ukraine's drone. Nationally, the conflict's expansion into Russian territory has deepened tensions between NATO and Russia. Western nations have cautiously supported Ukraine's actions, reiterating the importance of defending international law while acknowledging Ukraine's right to self-defense. Meanwhile, China has called for de-escalation, maintaining its neutral stance but avoiding direct criticism of Russia. Eastern European countries like Latvia and Lithuania have bolstered their own defenses, wary of potential spillover effects. Volodymyr's potential pivot raises serious concerns, as Ukrainian forces heavily depend on U.S.-supplied weaponry, intelligence sharing, and training to sustain their defense against Russian aggression. A cutback in military aid could place Ukraine in a precarious position, potentially eroding its ability to maintain the momentum needed to counter Russia's advance. Have been met with heavy-handed police tactics, including tear gas, rubber bullets, and batons. Even peaceful $230 billion in financial and military aid from NATO and its allies, allowing it to push back Russian advances and even launch counterattacks on Russian soil. Meanwhile, Russia has faced continuous military setbacks, starting with the failed Kyiv invasion, the retreat of its navy, and The situation in Kursk led to a shift in public sentiment, with many Russians beginning to openly criticize the government's mishandling of the war and the invasion. The Russian economy, already strained by the war, is also in crisis. Militarized zones or other measurable steps toward de-escalation. However, critics in recent months, Serbia has become a center of public unrest, with widespread protests sweeping across the country. What began as localized outrage in Novi Sad quickly gained national momentum. Are also demanding economic reforms to tackle inequality and ensure. Meanwhile, Belarus has acted as a logistical ally to Russia, providing staging areas for reinforcements and supplies. The Ukrainian counteroffensive unfolded with a coordinated three-pronged assault on Russian positions in the Kursk region. The operation showcased precise planning, cutting-edge equipment, and effective use of intelligence. Ukrainian forces pushed nearly 2 miles into Russian territory, seizing key positions and disrupting Russian defenses. British Challenger 2 tanks were a highlight of the campaign. Its military dominance. Leading up to this counteroffensive, the conflict was characterized by relentless battles in eastern and southern Ukraine. Ukrainian forces had been steadily making progress, despite facing heavy resistance from Russian troops. The game changer, Western military aid, advanced weapon systems, intelligence sharing, and tactical training provided by NATO allies set the stage for this bold move into Kursk. On a broader level, tensions between Russia and the West have been at an all-time high. Cross-border skirmishes, missile strikes, and the shadow of a full-blown regional escalation. Well-equipped, these forces face challenges such as stretched supply lines, low morale, and increasing pressure from Ukrainian advances. The Wagner Group, a private military company, also had a exchange for concrete actions such as troop withdrawals, agreements to establish demilitarization. In 2014, He led a group of thugs known as the Maiden Titushki, which was involved in inciting violence against anti-Russian rallies,